Diaspora connection said too little love in this world, mankind. And I say too many war will only complicate the time. Yeah, man, Kabbalah for Jamaican with brother Joshua. More life, more blessing. How you doing out there? Stay connected.
Yo, check this out. This is Anthony Cruz, and you don't know it's the Diaspora Connection featuring Kabbalah for Jamaicans with Joshua. Keep it locked, man. Blaze it hot. Anthony Cruz said that.
The ground still tall. And my mind never let me go.
I walk with you, Cha-Cha, deep down in my soul. Always hold my hand in a Cha-Cha, never let me go. I still walk with the same. Each and everywhere that I go, still not left out the most high. I not left out the most high. I still walk with the Savior. Each and everywhere that I go, still not left King Tafari. I not left out the most high. Here's my hand, oh Jah. Could you walk with me? I'm alone, oh Jah. Could you talk with me? Oh yes. You are the reason me not in the market. You give me peace now me heart all when me get rich and have 3 bodyguard and some big bad dog in me heart. I still a walk with the Savior. Each and everywhere that I go, still not left out the most high. I not left out the most high. I still a walk with the Savior. Each and everywhere that I go, still not left King Tafari. I not left out the most high. On my way to school, carry Jaja with me. All in the classroom, carry Jaja with me. Oh, you mean? In every lane and every crevice and corner. Still I see I see my me than dada. From me a little bit of pitney one order. So all when me turn grandfather. And I still a walk with the Savior. Each and everywhere that I go, and still not left out the most high. I not left out the most high. I still a walk with the Savior. Each and everywhere that I go, still not left King Tafari. I not left out the most high.
Yes, if you're going through this, working all day and night and still can't live a good life. Tell me if you're going through this, the money where you make done before it reach your hand, my friend. Tell me if you're going through this. Now no money for gas stars, so you can't to drive your car. Tell me if you're going through this. Every day I wonder if no better life no dead for you. Them say things that get better, but we can't see it. Can't see it, we can't. Them say money I run right and all, but pocket still I feel it. Still I feel it. Can't sleep at night because we stress out. Every month and that talk about kick out. Make our hands now meet. People lying up on street. Change is what we need. Tell me if you're going through this, working up overtime and still can't pay your bills on time. Tell me if you're going through this, the work you work so hard, still can't feed the youth them on your yard. Tell me if you're going through this, tears run from your eye when you look over your life at night. Are you going through this? Every day I wonder if no better life no dead for you. Them say things that get better but we can't see it. Can't see it, we can't. Them say money I run right and all, but pocket still I feel it. Still I feel it. Can't sleep at night because we stress out. Every month and that talk about kick out. Make our hands now meet. People lying up on street. Change is what we need.
So many times you are on your last dime. People see you smile, don't know what you're going through inside, yeah. Working so hard, but still ends not meet. Sometimes you won't believe, no better, no dead if you really.
There's the things that get better, but we can't see it. Can't see it, we can't. Them say money I run right and all, but pocket still I feel it. Still I feel it. Can't sleep at night because we stress out. Every month and that talk about kick out. Make because ends now meet. People lying up on street. Change is what we need. Them say things that get better, but we can't see it. Can't see it, we can't. Them say money a run right and over, but pocket still I feel it. Still I feel it. Can't sleep at night because we stress out. Every month and that about kick out. Because ends now meet. People lying up on street. Change is what we need.
Because the youths broke out bad. Only issue guns for the youths them go rob. The garrison them want treat like home for the dogs, but the ghetto full of star like American flag. Me believe in the ghetto, I swear. Them only promise things, but them no mean 'cause them no care. This are the home for my brothers and my sisters. Some me left for no to jack and me a chant up the scriptures. I know why the youths are rebel. When the story of the ghetto now things don't look well. The dirty work so them a preach, them a go dead and go a hell. Or you fit take away all the things them when the street vendors a sell. I know why the place no run merry. What make you think say every day another one a bury? It set up you will survive any means necessary. You split up all the ghettos in a war territory. Now it's easier for them, harder for we. The world need education so I it can be free. More see elevation for the nation. Stop confuse the youth them mind with your television. Hey, technically speaking, me beg no put this in on mind and draw for meeting. Corrupted staff members them get deleting. Them biggest plan is to get rich. Them gaining interest while them in dead sleeping and every day. I know why the youths are rebel. When the story of the ghetto now things don't look well. The dirty work so them a preach, them a go dead and go a hell. Or you fit take away all the things them when the street vendors a sell. I know why the place no run merry. What make you think say every day another one a bury? It set up you will survive any means necessary. You split up all the ghettos in a war territory.
We are real, you know all that we are friends when we stop on the corners when I run from the gens when big song a play we are beat on the fence because we burn friend killer and we burn fast pretense when pots a cook everybody a look six love drop on the table a shook. Me say that song you have for voice cause the place get nice. This a free me get a paradise. Big up the place where me come from cause it nice again. They done them I said none of me rise again. I know I not one. Yes, I good vibes again. Big up the place where me come from, cause it nice again. They done them, I said none of me rise again. I know I not one. Yes, I good vibes again. Right now, no man not tax and no man feed it. I youth a rise, but yeah, we glad for them. Yeah. Right now, Mr. P.L. over show. Remember one time me could put my foot out the door. Baby, mother's happy, I've been like this. The youth and my mind of youth. No man now get execute. Now look no man fi shoot. You know long me no see a black so big up the place where me come from. Cause it nice again. They done them I said none of it rise again. I know I not one. Yes I good vibes again. Big up the place where me come from. Cause it nice again. They done them I said none of it rise again. I know I not one. Yes I good vibes again.
Population control them call murder. Force them turn them back against the picnic them. Then them turn round and give the gun them to the mother and the father. Google search the Horn of Africa. Look how much youth are trapped dead in a Somalia. Disease has spread like Facebook. Them don't even know them place. Look them never taste the raw, much less the taste.
Realize and push the peace higher. The people them a ball for ceasefire. Wars of opinion, dominion, them seek with each prayer. See them now the weaker face the fire. But listen me now, me spend a week on Israel and me a look cross on the Gaza. Me feel the love on every corner. The bigger is them rather war and disaster. But when they meet them master.
yourself for the better. Let's hold hands, we can do this together. We should all call on the one up above, the one that's made us the champion. He's the world's greatest, no other compares to him. It's a blessing, and I know that he will save us. Don't be afraid, it would only make you stronger. And I know that he'll be here forever, just as long as you believe in him. Better days will be longer. In a time like now, when the world needs prayer, call on him and lift him higher. Look what's going on around us, yeah. And make a change in yourself for the better. Let's hold hands, we can do this together. We should all call on the one, 'cause this is more than a worldwide crisis. If you're ready, then we can survive this. How I long for you to realize this. Our prayers will work, 'cause if I pray, then you pray. Pray for better days and peaceful energy. The Almighty, His Majesty, is listening all the way. In a time like now, when the world needs prayer, call on him and lift him higher. Look what's going on around us, yeah. And make a change in yourself for the better. Let's hold hands, we can do this together. We should all call on the one.
I see confusion in your eyes, and maybe you're a little surprised the way we make love under the moonlight. Tomorrow you'll sit in your light. Come away in a dream. This world, it's not what it seems. There be no gold at the end of the rainbow. Birds don't fly anywhere that the wind blows. Come away in a dream. Life is not what it seems. Happily don't always live forever, but my love is getting stronger every day. Oh, stronger every day. Yeah. Oh, they tell me that diamonds are your friends, but diamonds won't be there in the end. I give you my love to remember and keep you happy, happy, happy. You shouldn't be me bonify. Nothing in this world can justify loving on your heart for I and I. It's you and I, baby. Maybe it's just fate, or time was simply been waiting. Is it chance to bring us together? We can go in search of forever. In a dream, this world, it's not what it seems. There be no gold at the end of the rainbow. Birds don't fly anywhere that the wind blows. Come away in a dream. Life is not what it seems. Happily don't always live forever, but my love is getting stronger every day. Ooh, see the future in your eyes.
I realized my baby was gone. She's gone, she's gone, she's gone. I realized my baby was gone. She's gone. 2 weeks now she gone. 10 hours, 30 minutes, 5 seconds since she left me. Now I'm sitting all alone, staring at the phone, hoping she would call. Please, baby, come back and turn this house into a home. 'Cause me without you and you without me is like no melody to my song. No, never thought I'd see the day I see you walk out the door and say you're not coming back. Never thought that I could cry. No, till I felt the tears fall from my eyes. When I realized my baby was gone. She's gone, she's gone, she's gone. I realized my baby was gone. She's gone. Well, if you said we were meant to be, why the hell are you leaving? 'Cause you hurt someone with a careless rumor, mentioned I was cheating. Hey, you should know and know by now, jeopardize what we had. Believe in us, don't believe in the lies. Seeing you leave really hurt me, babe. Never thought I'd see the day I see you walk out the door and say you're not coming back. Never thought that I could cry. gone. She's gone. She's gone. She's gone. She's gone. I realized my baby was gone. She's gone.
Them say depression is a state of mind. We're trying to get over, but the things ain't fine. We're rising up early in the morning time. Yet no man know I wait in line. In the city, in a pretty, the leaders get pretty. Some afraid, so them sound the alarm. Beg the youths them to come. Eh. We need food, but a fool them a farm. The people about say it hard. Things get hard, things get hard. Home and abroad, ends now meet again. Dollars have no friends from the ends. Church people about to the Lord. Things get hard, things get hard. Most dire of circumstance. Oh, we calling, but there's no response. In their mind, them think them safe. From the system them put in place. I try to treat the underprivileged like a slave, so it cannot stop misbehave. Uptown will be burning down. Downtown man asleep on the ground. Siren a ring out and the people a shout. We need justice, them balling out. The people about say it hard. Things get hard, things get hard. Home and abroad, ends now meet again. Dollars have no friends from the ends. Church people about to the Lord. Things get hard, things get hard. Most dire of circumstance. Oh, we calling, but there's no response. Money run out, things rough out the road. Can't find no food, things tough out the road. Is a workman a wait pan. Some of the gun is like the devil in a them right hand. But I don't want to hear another excuse. No want to see another brother in the excuse. Time to change up your folly. Mislead the people, they not talk about you sorry. The people about say it hard. Things get hard, things get hard. Home and abroad, ends now meet again. Dollars have no friends from the ends. Church people about to the Lord. Things get hard, things get hard. Most dire of circumstance. Oh, we calling, but there's no response. The people about say it hard. Things get hard, things get hard. Home and abroad, ends now meet again. Dollars have no friends from the ends. Church people about to the Lord. Things get hard, things get hard. Most dire of circumstance. Oh, we calling, but there's no response. The people crying out, crying out. Save the people, save the people.
Welcome to the program. You know, I maintain that reggae music is the most spiritual music in the world. What you just heard was a scriptures rhythm. And first you had Chronics with his piece Most. And then Morgan Heritage after that, Ends Now Meet. That Professor with I Know Why. All on the same scriptures rhythm. Ja Vinci, Nice Again. T.O.K. Crying Out. Tessan Chin, one of my favorites. Call on Him. And then Jacure, Stronger. And then Mitch, Never Never. And then finally, Dwayne Stevenson, To the Lord. My friends, how can a society that grew up on this type of music not be spiritual? You just need to be fed the right information. Because we've been duped. We've been duped by religion. And it's time for people to know the truth. My name is Joshua. We're here every Tuesday and Wednesday night. 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. in Jamaica. You're listening to World Vibes Radio. And last night, we discussed this cosmic window that we're in right now, which is the month of Virgo. And for those of you who have been listening for some time, you may have heard me say that these holidays are cosmic windows. They are special energies that appear in the universe at certain times. And when the Creator gave Israel the secrets, the rituals to perform during certain time periods, it is so that we can tap into that energy. that energy that can help us, the energy that protects us from judgment or helps us to draw blessings, helps us to draw health. 2 days ago, 3 days ago, we entered into the cosmic window of Virgo, the new astrological sign. And the Kabbalists have taught that the 30 days of Virgo are called the 30 days of repentance, because it is the 30 days that follows Rosh Hashana. And Rosh Hashana is the first day of Libra, which in fact is the 6th day of creation. Let me repeat that. Rosh Hashana is the first of the year, first of the new cycle. Yes, it appears in September, and it's not in January at the beginning of the Gregorian calendar, but according to the Hebrew calendar, it is the beginning of the year, beginning of the new cycle, a new life cycle. And the Kabbalists teach us that the investment that you make during this time period to do introspection and to try and right the wrongs that you have done, to apologize to those people that you have hurt, even if you've done it before, even if it's years ago. Let the people know that you're still so sorry for what you've done, and continue to ask the universe to forgive you. And hopefully you didn't repeat those things, because when you confess to a wrongdoing, a part of it is to determine that you won't repeat it. So this time is a time of great introspection. In fact, the Creator says, the Zohar tells us that the Creator says, those things about yourself that you don't remember, I will remember. But the things that you remember and recognize that you were wrong, you could have done better, those are the times that the Creator will forget, and you will not be held accountable. It is a time where we can wipe our slate clean. Yes, wipe our slate clean and come fresh. And like I said, the 2 days of Rosh Hashana, the birthday of mankind, of Adam and Eve, the 6th day of creation, is Rosh Hashana. And the Kabbalah Center has made available for us an environment where we can practice these rituals, we can execute these rituals, and we can connect to the energies that are made available for a new life. The Zohar tells us plainly and clearly what to expect by the actions that we perform. Kabbalah is a science, my friends. It is not a religion. And as with all sciences, things have to be proven. Well, the sages reveal to us these secrets, and they themselves have proven it. And they have given us the recipe for a successful life. A life full of abundance. A life full of health. A life full of good relationships. The Creator himself says, if you follow my commandments, if you adhere to my statutes and my ordinances, life will be good for you. He will cause it to rain when it needs to rain, and he will prevent the fowler from coming to you. He will not send the destroyer to destroy. You'll be protected. That is a promise of the Creator. And it is real. And the science of Kabbalah helps you to realize that in your life. We're going to continue tonight, because this is the new moon of Virgo and Rosh Hashana part 2. We're going to continue with the wisdom that the Kabbalists have revealed about the month of Virgo. And I'd just like to read from the Kabbalistic Astrology book by Rav Berg, which I highly recommend. This book goes into all of the holidays, all of the cosmic windows that exist from a holiday standpoint. Even Shabbat, every 7 days there's a cosmic window where certain energies are made available to us. And if we perform certain rituals, we can connect to that energy. That's weekly. And on a monthly basis, the new moon. Very auspicious and special time. We do certain rituals, we can connect to that. The seed level of the month. That's what the new moon is. And then we have the individual holidays, like Passover, which lasts for 7 days. Sukkot, which lasts for 7 days. Yom Kippur, which is 1 day. Rosh Hashana, which is 2 days. Purim, which is 1 day. Hanukkah, which is 8 days. All of these holidays, all of these Israelite holidays are cosmic windows. Windows in time that we can connect to the energy that's made available. If you'd like to reach us here in the studio, my WhatsApp number is country code +1 516 965 5700. Again, country code +1 516 965 5700. You can also go to our website, www.kabbalahforjamaicans.com. That's KABBALAH, the number 4, and Jamaicans, JAMAICANS.com. KabbalahforJamaicans.com. And if you want to learn more about the Zohar, which we will be talking about more throughout the program, you can go to www.zohar.com. That's ZOHAR.com. Zohar.com. And then there is the Kabbalah Center's website, www.kabbalah.com. Again, Kabbalah is KABBALAH.com. Kabbalah.com. There you will see all the offerings from the Kabbalah Center, all the free classes that you can get, and all the paid classes that you can get. I've been a student of the Kabbalah Center for the last 18 years. And I have formed the Kabbalah Learning Center of Jamaica, which is a non-profit organization whose mission is to expose the teachings of Kabbalah to the Jamaican community, to provide a forum by which they can study and learn. And also we have a food security army where we twice a month, we feed the people in certain parishes. Right now we're doing it in Spanish Town, in and about the Spanish Town Infirmary. Twice a month. We feed up to about 100 people a month. And we distribute the Zohar, which is the principal text of Kabbalah, which we believe is a source of protection, a source of light, a source of energy. And the more people that have it, is the more protection people will have, and the more of a more positive vibration will be circulating in the earth. Just having the Zohar on your person brings protection because of the energy that it vibrates on. Negative forces will stay away from you because you have the Zohar. And even more so if you start to study, you begin to scan it. Now, you may not understand Hebrew or Aramaic, but you don't need to. All you need to do is scan it from right to left, because Hebrew is read from right to left. And as you know, the eyes are the windows to the soul. So, if you'd like a Zohar, a mini pocket Zohar, we can get you one. Just send me a text, WhatsApp text. Again, country code +1 516 965 5700. Or you can go to our website and send me a notice from there. Yes? Wherever you are in the world, we'll get you a Zohar. Now, back to the cosmic window that we're in, which is Virgo. And I'm going to read from the Kabbalistic astrology book. Written by Ravberg. Let's see. And good evening to our guests tonight, Brother Paul Lambert and Brother Sean and Miss Myrtle. Both of you are in Jamaica. Or I should say all three of you are in Jamaica. Welcome. Good evening.
You're welcome too.
Thank you, Mama. How are you doing?
I'm okay.
Very good.
Sean up here now.
Okay. All right. So you're listening for
He's
for him
gone
too.
up. Yes, he's gone up.
Okay.
You know him.
Hey, hey. Well, you're listening for the both of you.
Yes.
Very good. Very good. How did you enjoy the program last night?
It was good.
Mm-hmm. You learned a lot.
Oh, last night
Hey, hey.
we couldn't sleep.
You fall asleep? But you caught some of it. You caught some of it though.
Pardon me?
You caught some of it, right?
I didn't get any of it. I went to sleep.
Oh gosh. All right. All right. Well, you know what? Sean have the recording. I sent it to you. I sent it to your phone. I sent it to your phone so you can listen to it.
Sean told me about it.
Yes.
For you there last night.
Yes. Yes. He was on. But you can listen to it for yourself. You can click on the link that I sent you. It will take you to YouTube. It will take you to YouTube and you can listen to it.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, Mama. So tonight, I'm going to read from the Kabbalistic astrology book on Virgo. Virgo in Hebrew is Elul, E-L-U-L. And it is entitled Proud Mary. So ruled by the planet Mercury, the sign of Virgo in the month of Elul is the sixth and last of the masculine months. The masculine signs. So 6 are feminine and 6 are masculine. It is the final month in which everything is in its potential or seed level state. Elul grants us the opportunity to modify the next 6 feminine months. Despite this month, we can use Virgo's influence. During this month, we can use Virgo's influence to take stock of ourselves, identify our faults, and clean house. For this reason, Elul is called the month of repentance. The term Virgo denotes virginity and purity. The Aramaic letters that connect us to the spiritual energy of the month are the Yud, which created the sign of Virgo, and the letter Resh, which created the planet Mercury. Again, friends, Kabbalah is science. We're being told a sort of thing set. Okay? A sort of thing set. The Hebrew letters Yud, Resh, and Yud created Mercury and the sign of Virgo. These two letters have diametrically opposed energy intelligences. The Yud symbolizes richness and the highest level of consciousness, while the Resh is the image of poverty. During the month of Elul, we should take advantage of the opportunity to unify these two concepts in balance and balance their energies. Virgo like Gemini, is ruled by the planet Mercury, which is the fastest planet in our solar system. Those born under both signs have the ability to adapt quickly to new situations and ideas, for a Virgo doesn't shift viewpoints with the same eagerness as a Gemini. Both are likely to jump to hasty conclusions, but they base their decisions on different factors. Physically, Virgos are often long-legged and slim. Their weak point is the digestive system and the intestines. Virgo's main characteristic is their perpetual quest for order and perfection. Nothing disturbs a Virgo more than untidiness. Their desks, their homes, and their cars are examples of efficiency and neatness. For a Virgo, everything has a prescribed place. Virgos are reliable and responsible. It is a point of honor for them to complete each task they are given. To Virgos, the physical world requires perfect order, which they have put on earth to maintain. With their commitment to accuracy and precision, they are well presented among editors, copy editors, accountants, and surgeons. No other sign has Virgo's analytical, logical, and methodological capabilities. But their perfectionism prevents them from grasping the bigger picture. Their view of the world may become reduced to a single grain of sand, when an entire beach should be taken into account. In their quest for perfection, Virgos quickly focus on the inadequacies and errors of those around them. They are seldom diplomatic or tactful, and often lack the sensitivity required for a meaningful exchange of ideas. It's not that they intend to hurt others. Errors and imperfections insult their sense of order, and they lash out to rectify the flaws as quickly as possible. Virgos believe that their abilities authorize them to comment on and criticize others as they see fit. At the same time, however, they tend to consider themselves above reproach. In this respect, they mimic the unassailable virgin of their sign. Although they be able to mix easily with all classes of people, they can almost unbearably proud. It says Virgo is an earth sign, and a Virgo's view of the world is physical and practical. But because of this, there is a limited view. Virgos only see a fraction of the whole picture. They seldom question why, only how. By nature, Virgos are not very spiritual. To develop their spiritual potential, they must see beyond the physicality of the world. And for a Virgo, this is a tall order. In order to move towards a corrected life, Virgos must first understand that the world that our five senses reveals, what it reveals, is limited because it represents only a small portion of reality. The greater part of reality resides in the spiritual world. While Virgos accept this, they will realize that they are able to see the small details only because the light has allowed them to do so. See what it says here. Mama Myrtle, what month you born?
April.
April. So you're Aries.
Yeah.
April what day?
5th.
The 5th?
Yeah.
Wow. My daughter's the 6th. Yeah, you're Aries.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You share the same planet as me, Mars. As a Scorpio. You and Sean have the same planet, Mars. They're the ones who rule, the planet Mars rules Scorpio and Aries. So the book goes on to say, as the month of repentance, Elul is particularly suited to an examination of our past, taking stock of ourselves and making amends for our misdeeds. How can we best accomplish this? Kabbalah teaches that if we have harmed someone, whether intentionally or not, we are held responsible only for our own actions, since the injured person was clearly destined to have that experience, whether by our actions or somebody else's. What we have done by our harmful actions was set a channel or an agent of the negativity that was due to the victim. Wow. We haven't exactly done them any favors, but Kabbalah recognizes that the light works in mysterious ways. Thieves are guilty for their offenses, but according to Kabbalah, the victims of this theft were meant to have their experience of loss. In other words, we are not responsible for the victim's destiny, but we are responsible for our own destiny, which allowed us to become the channel for negativity, which is something that we need to look into. If we become a channel of negativity, that's not preferable at all. So it goes on to say, right, it became a channel of negativity. So because of this, the only way to truly repent is to change the future by returning to the past. Simply apologizing profusely for a past offense will not change anything, nor will it relieve the pain that the victim feels. To repent, you must go back, understand what caused you to act badly, admit your mistake, and request that the same situation occur again in the future, that you will have an opportunity to act differently, therefore enabling you to make your correction. Wow. That's deep. That's powerful. The energy of the month of Virgo offers us the opportunity to examine ourselves thoroughly. This is the reason the sign of Virgo, it has the power to purify, to cleanse the world of its imperfections. That's Virgo. Beautiful. Beautiful. So, Brother Paul, what month you born? Okay. So, I am going to play this lecture by Joseph Grunman, who I know well, excellent young teacher, about understanding tshuva or repentance, because this is the month of Elul, right? So let's see what Joseph has to say.
Welcome to the writings of the Ari, Gates of Reincarnation. We're in a little bit of a different background environment than usual, but we're going to get straight into the writings of the Ari for today and continue where we left off from last week. We're still in chapter number 11. We just finished speaking about all of the 248 to-do precepts and their process of whether we do them, whether we don't do them, and their reincarnations, and how that takes place as well. We revealed some very powerful secrets as the Ari is revealing to us, not only intellectually, but also the light, the energy that comes from the writings of the Ari. So before we begin, as we do every week, we're going to say the Ribon Ha'olamim, the little prayer that we do before our connection, our study, so that we can direct our study, we can give a destination to our study. So let's take a moment even before we begin, and whether it's a situation in our life that needs life, that needs rejuvenation, we want to utilize this energy not only intellectually that the area is stimulating for us, but also the energy that's coming in, and utilize that as an opportunity to incite our spiritual process for this coming month. So ריבון העולמים ואדוני האדונים, אב הרחמים והסליחות, מודים אנחנו לפניך, השם אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, בקידה ובהשתחווה שקרבתנו לתורתך ולעבודתך, עבודת הקודש, ונתת לנו חלק בסודות תורתך הקדושה. מה אנו ומה חיינו אשר עשית עמנו חסד גדול כזה. על כן אנחנו מפילים תחנוננו לפניך, שתמחול ותסלח לכל חטאותינו ועוונותינו. ואל יהיו עוונותינו מבדילים בינינו לביניך. וכן יהי רצון לפניך, השם אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, שתכונן את לבבינו ליראתך ולאהבתך, ותקשיב אוזניך לדברינו אלה, ותפתח לבבינו הערל בסודות תורתך, ויהיה לימודנו זה נחת רוח לפני כיסא כבודך, כריח ניחוח, ותאציל עלינו אור מקור נשמתנו, בכל מבחינתנו ושיתנוצצו ניצוצות עבדיך הקדושים, אשר על ידם גלית דבריך, אלה בעולם וזכותם וזכות אבותם וזכות תורתם ותמימותם. וקדושתם יעמוד לנו נבל לקשל בדברים אלו, ובזכותם תאיר עינינו. ומה שאנו לומדים, כמאמר נעים זמירות ישראל, גל עיניי והביט הנפלאות מתורתך. כי השם ייתן חוכמה מפיו דעת ותבונה, יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, והגיוני בלפניך, השם צורי וגואלי. One thing that jumped off the page as I was reading was, ונתת לנו חלק בסודות תורתך, that the Creator gave to us a part of the study, or a part of the Torah as it's written here, which means that each one of us in this world, we know that the Bible, the Torah, the Creator invested all of the energy of the tree of life, which is the essence of the light of the Creator, into those words, into those sentences, and really encoded within the Torah is all of the light that we in this world really need, personally and collectively. And each one of us has a spark of that aspect of the Torah, meaning a secret that we have been infused with, that we have been given to reveal in this world, a unique light that we have been given to reveal in this world. And the fact that the Creator revealed that essence within us and with us alone, it's just a very powerful place to start our consciousness, to begin with everything that we do. There's a beautiful quote from Rav Nachman of Breslov, which I love to share on birthdays, which states, the day that you were born is the day that the Creator decided that this world can no longer exist without you. Which means that there's an energy about us that we have been infused with, that has been implanted within us, that is being waited to be revealed in the world by the Creator, by others around us. And the more that we put ourselves on the spiritual path of transformation and growth and study and evolution of our connection to the light of the Creator, the more that spark, that secret that only we can reveal, can come closer and closer to become revealed. So taking a moment even before we begin, and just allowing that light to inspire our every action, to inspire our every thought, that there's a light that we have that nobody else can reveal, and I want to run after that quality, that step-by-step process that leads me to there, to manifest everything that I'm meant to manifest in this world. Last week, as we said, we finished the different categories, or the different divisions of the 248 precepts, and whether we do them or whether we don't do them, whether we have an opportunity to do them or the Creator doesn't give us an opportunity to do them, how do we know whether we need to reincarnate or come back or to do that work again, right? And we talked about how the mitzvot themselves, the precepts themselves, are really all codes that awaken a unique attribute that is existent within us, that is waiting to come forth. That yes, it sounds very dogmatic, if you will, on the surface. When you read a precept, for instance, v'asita ma'akel agagecha, as we said, right? When you make a railing on your roof, it's a very interesting precept. Why do we need to make a railing on our roof? As the Ari shared with us, it's to awaken the fact that we are meditating or using even the opportunity, when I'm going to receive the benefit of owning a building, I need to be conscientious and thinking and activating the quality of kindness, of thinking about other people that, God forbid, might get hurt on that roof or might fall off or it might cause harm to somebody when I'm experiencing blessings. That I need to think about somebody else. It's all the attributes. There's the aspect of it that's logical and that we understand and that even break even further down as we go to the spiritual qualities that we're looking for. Then there's the aspect of the certainty that we have with every quality or with every precept that we're working with. So now the Ari is going to share with us the matter of mitzvot lo ta'aseh, or the 365 do not do precepts, and how humanity interacts with those, whether we need to reincarnate, how do they get corrected when we do go over them or transgress them. And let's keep in mind that when we're talking about the mitzvot, when we're talking about the precepts, whether it's to do or to not do, the performing of a mitzvah, the performing of a precept, is going to bring to us a quality that we need on the work of our soul, that we need to acquire, that we want to refill our inventory with, if you will, because without that quality, we would be missing what we're doing in this world. Without that, yes, precept, but it's really the quality and the light that is awakened within us that will allow us to connect to the truth behind these to-do precepts and to not do precepts, which are, as we said, the restriction of the negative actions in this world, as well as the proactive momentum or action of a positive precept in this world. So there he writes, V'nva'er ata, and now V'nva'er inyan mitzvot lo ta'aseh. We will clarify the matter of the do not do precepts. And he says, Da ki yesh mitzvot lo ta'aseh she'tshuva v'yom kippurim mekaprim. That there are do not do precepts that tshuva, the process of tshuva, the Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashana, act as those 2 days of, if you will, atonement, or the days of calibration to know where we actually are, where we hit the equal sign on the calculator, where we add up all of the things that we've done, all the planted seeds, and on Rosh Hashanah, and as well as Yom Kippur, we have opportunities to shift. When we press that equal sign, what's actually going to take place? What's going to blossom from our actions or seeds that we have planted in the past? So it says that there's some mitzvot lo ta'aseh, there's some, whether transgressions that a person may have done in this world, actions of negativity, that they can be transformed through tshuva, going back in time, and Yom Kippur, and that day that literally brings at one mint, right? The Rav and Karen would call this idea of atonement. Really, when you break up the word in a different way, it becomes at one mint, where we become similar or close to the light of the Creator, and all of our qualities of negativity really become cleansed, washed away. And tshuva is when we go back to the moments where we may have caused our soul pain, or we may have caused, really not our soul pain, but we have caused ourself an elongation of the process of transformation. Or we may have caused others pain around us, where we might have done an action, said words that might have hurt people in this world, caused an imbalance in the equilibrium of our soul in this world. And we go back to that moment, and we literally understand the limited desire that we came from, and now we come to a point of shifting a desire. It's a beautiful thing that Shimon Sarfati shared in his portion, in his lecture on the portion Re'eh, where he explained that real tshuva is changing our desire. It's going back to the moment where we see our desire and where it was, and how the only reason why I could have come to this negative action or this misinformed action is because my desire might have been limited or in the wrong place at that time, and I want to awaken or change or shift that desire, that inclination to connect to the light of the Creator. And so the Ari is sharing that there are some negative actions that we do that can be healed through this process of tshuva, transformation, repentance, literally translated, even though it doesn't do the word justice, and Yom Kippur, this window in time that the Creator created for humanity to clean the slate completely, where we let go of all the attachments of physicality that we know and that we are. It says, V'yesh shetzarich, and there are some actions or some transgressions that a person may have done in this world. Gam ken isurin lechapram, and there's some that a difficult situation might need to come up in order to cleanse that action of negativity, in order to cleanse that aspect of negativity that we created. אבל יש עבירות חמורות, כמו כריתות ומיתות בית דין וכיוצא בזה. And then there are actions that are very, very severe, if you will, that there can only be a correction of those things by, God forbid, somebody leaving the world, or, if you will, being severed from life, what the Ari's words are, or what death by a heavenly court, right? Meaning that their actions were weighed, and now they need to leave the world in order to do that. That they cannot be cleansed unless a person leaves this world. And this is interesting, and I know it sounds a little bit scary for us as we are reading these things, but the Ari is describing the whole system of how actions, words, actually get weighed, and how every process actually ends, not only ends, but actually the journey of that process is always an ascension spiritually. Even though sometimes it might look, for those of us in this physical world, like painful or challenging, or somebody, God forbid, leaving the world, but there's an ascension process that's always taking place, that the Creator, who sees the entire picture, is aligning, recalibrating, and bringing to a state of equilibrium. ויש באלו חילוק, כי היא עבירה שאינם מאותם שגופם קלה, ואינם קם בתחיית המתים. And there are some, and there is a difference between these two ideas. He's going to explain the difference. כי אם היא העבירה שאינם מאותם שגופם קלה, ואינם קם בתחיית המתים, if it's an action that a person does that their body will not come back to the resurrection, if you will, and we'll describe what that means. ואלו שאין להם חלק לעולם הבא, and those that don't, the bodies that don't have a place in the world to come, המינים והאפיקורסים וכולי, those that go on the wayward path, that take them towards negativity, and all their desire is towards causing harm and pulling people away from the spiritual path. הנה הנפש הזאת תתגלגל, that soul will reincarnate, לתקן מה שחטא, in order to correct what it did. וגופו הראשון קלה ונאבד כנזכר, and his first or her first body will be completely diminished, if you will. That body will not have resurrection, because we know, as we talked about in the sense of resurrection, what does resurrection really mean? It's when the facade, when the physical understanding of all matter in this world is actually stripped away, the physical matter itself will also be of a spiritual nature, will also be energy, Right now, there's physical matter in this world, and it will be taken off, but that matter is enclosing a spark of light within it. And so there are the bodies themselves that will be elevated in the time of the resurrection when our completion of our tikkun takes place. ואם אינה מבחינת זו, הנה הגוף הראשון אינו נאבד, אמנם הנפש ההיא מתגלגלת בגוף הזה השני, מצטרפות איזו ניצוץ אחד משורשו שנכנס שם, שהוא בעל הגוף ההוא, ושם נתקן זה המגולגל, עמו הנקרא אורח ולא בעל הבית. Very interesting what the Ari is saying. So there is one situation where a person might do a negative action, and now in another, they need to, in order to correct that negative action, they need to come back into another incarnation, and it will fortunately or unfortunately be another body. It won't be that same body that took place. And then there's another type of situation. ואם אינה מבחינת זו, הנה הגוף הראשון אינו נאבד, אמנם הנפש ההיא מתגלגלת בגוף הזה השני. So in another situation, there's another type of thing that will happen. If it was an action, or if it was a person that didn't go so far off the spiritual path, and they weren't trying to cause harm always in every waking minute that they were in this world. And there's many ways to understand this, although we're not going to go into the depths and the details of it, but the Ari is telling us the different evaluations that can take place on a soul and a body that takes place in this world, or that comes into this world, so that we understand the spiritual system and how the spiritual system is so specific. It's not what we think we know or what we can come up with, but rather the Ari is defining for us the actual spiritual system of how that works. So there's a case in which the body will be lost, if you will, or not come to the resurrection because that body didn't reveal the light that it's meant to in this world. And then there's a case where the body did, but it didn't complete the correction yet. The body did spiritual work, but it didn't complete the correction, and now they need to go into another body. And so that body isn't lost, the first body isn't lost. The Ari is sharing with us. And that Beitztafut, and then that soul that was existent within that first body, who did work but didn't complete its correction completely, will now go into another body in the next incarnation, and it will include itself with a spark or a soul that's already coming into a body. It will sort of jump on that bandwagon. Shehu ba'al hagufahu, that soul has another spark, has another owner, if you will, of that body. V'sham netaken ze hamegulgal, and therefore the reincarnated, meaning the first person, will jump onto that bandwagon of a soul and will correct when the owner of the second body corrects as well. And he's known as a guest and not the Ba'al Habayit, not the owner of the house, if you will. But they wait literally until that correction process will take place. And the Ari is defining for us very interesting things here, very interesting things. But to know that there's always a process where somebody can create a correction, even if it's at the point where somebody did the worst negative action. The worst negative action, as we've mentioned many times, אפשר להתחלף בכל הבחינות. We can correct and cleanse and change any circumstance, any effect of anything that we've done. Even to the point that the only thing that a person did in this world was negative, there's an ascension process that happens, which means the person now needs to leave the world and now go into another body in order to restart or start from a clean slate so that person can begin to evolve, to transform, and to elevate. The Ari is going to continue here. The Ari says, Gamda, ki ha'adam hamachti lechavero be'ezo avera shetzarich gilgul. Very interesting what the Ari is going to say here. A person that, if you will, entraps or causes their friend to do something negative that needs a reincarnation, that the negative action needs a reincarnation in order for somebody to reincarnate. But the person who enticed the friend, the person who entrapped the friend to do something negative, yavo be'ibur, that person didn't do the action of negativity. He just was the bad influence, if you will, or she was just the bad influence in that case. Yavo be'ibur im hamidgalgel. That soul will come in the form of an ibur, will come in the form of a impregnation, if you will, where they'll almost attach themselves to that soul that's coming to correct, to the friend that was enticed to do the negative action. The friend in the previous incarnation that was the enticer or the entrapper, if you will, to lead his friend to do the negative action, he will come in the form of an ibur and a sort of a divine presence or a divine attachment to the soul when the person comes into this world, until that person will correct the unique sin that they did in the last life, that their friend encouraged them to do. Ve'af zeh shehechti istalek misham. Shehechtiyo istalek misham. Veda, כי לא די לאדם עצמו פרטיות אחרות, אחיזת נפשו למעלה. It's interesting. Now the Ari is going to explain a very powerful idea about the spiritual work and how our spiritual work really needs to be complete. That's what the Ari's message is in this entire idea, is that very often we think that our work is something. We think that we need to do something specific. And we're focused on that, and we hyper-focus on that. But when the Ari literally zooms out to make sure that we understand that our work really is unknown, and we need to know that we don't know our work. And that's really the beginning of being able to manifest what it is that our soul is waiting to manifest in this world. So it says, Veda, כי לא די לאדם עצמו פרטיות אחרות, אחיזת נפשו למעלה, רק כל חלקי העשייה ויצירה וכולי. וזה מסייעו למה שכתבתי פה, שאף על פי שיש מצוות פרטיות, בכל עבר, צריך שישלים כל התרי"ג מצוות. And that's why I wrote here that a person, we shared in the past few weeks, and if you didn't get a chance, I strongly recommend going to the last few sessions and looking into these ideas. So the Ari shares how the different 613 precepts are broken up into two categories. The 248 precepts of the to-dos, and the 365 do not do precepts. And remembering or keeping in mind that all of them are there to awaken a unique quality and a unique transformation that we as people have come here to acquire. We as souls have come here to acquire that add to the global correction and the tikkun process that will bring about the removal of pain, suffering, and death in our lives and in the lives of the world. So the Ari shares with us that there are different divisions of those 248 and the 365 that have to do with the different parts of the body. Whether it's, so the Ari gives the example, for instance, that in the left shoulder, there's 11 mitzvot aseh, which means positive to-do precepts, and 15 mitzvot lo ta'aseh, or the precepts that are to not do, right? That's connected to the left shoulder. If we're talking about the body of Adam, there's in the left shoulder, that's the division of the precepts, of the positive to-dos and not to-dos. And we said how every soul in this world comes from a specific part of Adam's body, literally. Body, which we know, makes up the essence of the soul. And that determines their correction process. For instance, whether a person, why is it that there are so many different occupations in this world, so many different types of relationships in this world, so many different types of when children are born into this world, right? Their intellectual capacities, their compassion capacities, their athletic capacities. Where do all of these come from? It's not just random or dependent on the DNA. And if we think it's dependent on the DNA, why did those two souls come together to create that child? It all goes back to a very unique place in Adam's body that reveals a unique tikkun. And why there is lawyers and why there's construction workers and why there is teachers and why there are speakers or people that speak publicly better and people who don't speak publicly better. Doesn't mean that we're subject to that destiny, but there is a natural aspect of a gift that we've been given in this world and where that comes from. And so spiritually, the Ari is revealing for us that every single one has a unique process or has unique precepts that they're meant to do and that they're not meant to do, also based on their root soul and the cloth through which they were cut, that they came into this world. And so the Ari is saying that, as we said in the past, even though if you're from the left shoulder, and the left shoulder has within it 11 to-do precepts and 15 to not to do precepts, you still need to do all of the 613 precepts. You need to be a whole and complete individual. We don't just come here to do one specific thing. We can look at our work and start to see around what it is that we're doing spiritually. Why is it that we have this quality that's leveraged or that's highlighted through this challenge that we go through? Or this quality or attribute that's highlighted when we go through this, whether it's blessing, right? There's many different things that we go through that are highlighted throughout the process that are being called upon and asked to be refined throughout our spiritual process. But we need to be complete and whole human beings. Not just because we are doing one thing, that's what we do always, and that's what we're good at, and that's what comes to us naturally, and that's where we'll hyper-focus our intentions. And so he says we need to do all of them. But according to my humble opinion, it's a little bit different, this explanation of needing to do all of the precepts themselves. If a person, in the way of an example, is from the world of minukba de Asiya, from the lowest point of Asiya. We know that there's 4 major worlds, right? 4 major grades of how light is revealed into this world. The first is Asiya, which is known as action. The second is Yetzira, which is known as formation. Third is Briya, which is known as creation. And the fourth is Atzilut, which is known as emanation. And it goes in increasing order, from lowest to highest, as I mentioned. So he's saying, if a person's soul is from Nukba of Asiya, meaning the lowest point of the world of action, the lowest point, that's where their soul is from. Lo yaspik lo ka'asher yitaken b'china tahi levada. It won't be enough for that person just to finish correcting that lower level of his soul, meaning the nefesh, or the nukba, the malchut aspect of Asiya, the lowest point of Asiya. When he corrects that level that he's meant to correct, ועל כן ייכנס בו בחינת הרוח שלו שהיא מנוקבה דיצירה. אלא צריך שיתקן. And so his next level, he can't just jump levels, the Ari is saying, that a person can't just go from the lowest point of the world of Asiya action to then the lowest point of the world of Yetzira formation, to then the lowest point in the world of creation. The Ari is telling us that the person needs to go from the lowest point of the world of action to the midpoint of the world of action, to the high point of the world of action, and then they can go to the low point of the world of formation. ועל ידי כן ייכנס בו בחינת הרוח שלו, שהיא מנוקבה דיצירה, אלא צריך, rather, צריך שיתקן גם כל חלקי הנפש, that a person needs to correct the entirety of the nefesh, the entire aspect of his soul, שהם mechelko shel Asiya, which are all aspects of Asiya. So now it's very interesting. Here he's saying his specific aspect of Asiya. So he has a specific aspect of the lowest point of Asiya. He also has a specific aspect of the midpoint of Asiya. And he or she has a specific aspect of the high point of Asiya. We're not just the entirety, otherwise there would just be one soul. We would just be, it was us. We were known as the nefesh of the low point, the nefesh of the midpoint, and the nefesh of the high point, and then we would get to the one aspect. But we have many different souls. There's many different souls that are taking place and that are in this world. So we have to manage or correct our specific aspect of the low point, and then move to our specific aspect of the midpoint. And as we said, that there's 5 major points, but I'm saying low, mid, and high, just so that we are understanding what the Ari's example is here. Kigon nefesh mimalchut zeranpin de'asiyah. If a person is from the midpoint of the world of Yesira, of Asiyah, the action, umimalchut de'asiyah, they'll need to go through the process of elevating to the high point of Asiyah, and then to the optimum point of Asiyah, if you will, or a point of action, and then continue to do their spiritual work, even higher and higher, malchut de'ima ve'aba ve'alich Asiyah, until the highest point of the world of action. Ki kol elu hem chelkei nefsho b'shlemut. Because all of these aspects are his or her specific completion of their work. His or her completion of their work. Shehem nefesh, ruach, neshama, chaya, yechida, which are the 5 levels of the soul that correspond to the world of action, the world of asiyah. Sheyesh ba'asiyah. Kulam nikraim nefesh de'asiyah shlema. And they are all called the nefesh of asiyah in its completion or entirety. Ve'az yatchil, and then the person will yatchil liknot nefesh sheberuach de'yetzira shebechalko. And then the person will download and invite into their body the next level, which is the world of Yetzira. But a person needs to correct the entirety of Asiyah in all of its divisions. Because otherwise there would only be one soul in the entire world on its own. And we've said many times, the Ari is sharing something groundbreaking, really, because we haven't understood this yet until this point. Because when we've said that a person needs to go through, yes, nefesh of asiyah. And when they complete nefesh of asiyah, then they need to go to ruach of asiyah, or the higher, or the next point of asiyah, right? To the next point of asiyah, to the next point of action, right? But then we're not understanding that there's so many souls, there's so many individual souls that have unique parts of Adam's body that they need to correct. And each one needs to correct their specific aspect, which is why the Ari is clarifying for us that these words are so important. Shehem mechelko shel asiyah. That they're from our unique aspect of our work of asiyah. Our spiritual work, our spiritual elevation process. וגם זה מוכיח כי אין צורך לאדם לתקן רק שורש הקטן אשר ממנו חוצב. And now we understand what it means, because the Ari was battling with this idea before, and this is really where we start to understand what it means, this battle that the Ari was having with this idea the whole time, that it says on one hand that a person only is responsible for correcting their unique root source soul that has to do with the part of the body that they came from Adam. And so, if in the left shoulder, for instance, there's 11 mitzvot aseh, there's 11 to-do precepts, and 15 not to-do precepts, then they need to do those 11 to-do precepts and those 15 not to-do. But the rest of them, you would think that you don't need to do. But the Ari is now helping us to understand that each one of us, that there are so many souls in this world, which means it's not that we just need to do, because there was this idea that we just need to do that minor root aspect of what we need to transform, and then that there's also this idea that we need to correct all of the 613 precepts if we're a being in this world. So how do you reconcile those two? And the Ari gives this beautiful answer, that yes, we need to do the specific aspect of our work, although not to forget that we are not the only soul in that left shoulder. There's many other souls in that left shoulder. So we need to do all of the precepts, all of the aspects that have to do with our root soul, and we have to be a complete person in that aspect. Otherwise, there would just be one soul in the left shoulder, right? One soul in the left shoulder that completes the entirety of the left shoulder. But there isn't one soul. There's thousands of souls in the left shoulder that came from the left shoulder that are doing that spiritual work. So the Ari is giving to us this idea that it's not just one soul, there's thousands of souls, and we need to complete what we want to do is complete our unique part of our soul. And what, just even the light, I think it's important even before we've made it a little bit practical so far, but even before we even further break this down, for ourselves, we want to keep in mind, just even reading these words incites our process. We can even close our eyes for a moment and just ingest, take in everything that the Ari is saying, and having the words of the Ari actually drive and guide us on our process of transformation to ensure and ask that we are doing what we're meant to be doing. That we are doing the light of we're manifesting the light of our soul, that we are doing the positive precepts that we're meant to be doing in this world, that we're activating the unique qualities that we're meant to be activating in this world, that we are making sure that we stay away from the unique actions that we're not meant to fall to in this world. And typically, if we look at our life, in a general sense, and this is how we want to understand this precept or these ideas in our life. If we look at the positive actions in our life, and they are typically a little bit more outside of our nature, whether we're asked to do certain things, whether we receive or we understand that there's an opportunity to share or to give or to go outside of our nature for something. Those are probably the unique opportunities that we came for that are connected to our root soul. And on the opposite front as well, when we look at our life and we see how something is so hard for me to refrain from, whether it's anger, whether it's insecurities, whether it's blame, whether it's shame, whether it's guilt, whether it's fear of judgment, those are the areas that we want to stay away from as well, right? Meaning stay away from that. It's easy for us to fall to those things. Meaning if I were afraid of judgment, that I would stay away from everybody or away from possibly being judged, but rather going outside of my nature and doing that and putting myself in the place where I know my klipot, I know my levushim are actually being starved, if you will, actually being starved. And so it's very important as we come to Rosh Hashanah, as we come to this monumental time to be able to do tshuva and transform, that we understand that each one of us has clothing on our soul, clothing. That every day when we go to sleep, we actually ask for to receive a new clothing, a clothing that is clean of all of the past days' blemishes. And there's a beautiful one final thing that I'll share, is that in this past week's portion, there's a very interesting section. There's always an interesting section in the portions themselves that if you're in a deeper class like this one, we can hopefully appreciate a little bit more. And there's this section that talks about a person who passes away or a person who is, God forbid, murdered in between two cities. And they ask who's responsible for the burial process, for the cleansing process, which city is really responsible to go through that process and to take care of the body. And so what they do is they actually measure which city is closest to the dead body, and that city needs to take care of that process. And what needs to happen, they need to bring something known as the egla arufa, which is a calf offering, that they come to the city, they come to the river, and they slaughter it into the river, they offer it into the river as an offering to the Creator, as we know, and the offerings themselves, they're not just something that we do because the Creator needs something, or because we're going to be somehow logically cleansed by this whole idea. But spiritually, what happens is there's an animal that's given all of the energy of death, if you will, of that city, and it cleanses that process, right? And that's what Nachmanides, a very spiritual Kabbalist, writes about that process, that they need to cleanse that process. And then Maimonides, who's another, not necessarily Kabbalist, the Ari writes that he was very knowledgeable, almost like a doctor, but he didn't really study Kabbalah. And it says that Nachmanides actually was the reincarnation of Maimonides so that he could begin that process of the study of Kabbalah. And so Maimonides writes that you have to find the murderer. So the reason why we do this Eglah Rufa, where everybody comes together and gives a sacrifice of this calf, is so that when people come together and everybody from the town and the city comes together to offer this calf, that there is talk amongst the people that, oh, you know what, I actually do remember hearing something, there was some screams a few weeks ago during the night, and this person, is coming from that house, and they'll find the murderer somehow, right? And that's really what Maimonides writes, but Nachmanides shares that really it's a spiritual process similar to Yom Kippur, similar to when there's the Seir LaAzazel, when we give the goat that takes all the negativity and is sent away of the people at that time, we know that there's an energy that's being lifted, an energy of death that's being lifted off of the people and put onto the animal, and the animal willingly, with an action or desire to share, literally experiences that cleansing process. But there's a beautiful section from Rabbi Yonatan ben Uziel, the Amuka, who many of us famously know him for bringing about the energy of soulmates and children. And he writes a very interesting section. This is all from a lecture that Michael did a few years ago in about 2018. And he shares such profound ideas around this idea of correction and cleansing before Rosh Hashana. And Rabbi Yonatan ben Uziel writes that this whole idea of the Eglah Rufa, which is this calf that's offered in the place of the murder of a person in a town, is that what happens is they come to do the offering, and then there might be a little bit disgusting, sorry if you can bear with me for a moment, that there is some worms that literally come out of the ground and they eat the leftover of the calf. And it says that those worms therefore go to the person's clothing who murdered the individual. Because really it was taken, the calf took all of the negativity of that darkness and that murder and was put onto the calf, and now that those worms go to the clothing of the individual and they stay on the clothing of the individual. And that's how they know who the murderer was, and that's how they counterbalance and bring spiritual justice. But for us it's very important, and he goes on to explain that when we do any actions in this world, we have levushim, we have clothing that follow us around everywhere. Just like the worms themselves, there's a residue of energy that follows us around everywhere. And when we're able in the time of Elul, the time of reflection, to go back and to correct all of our levushim and all of our clothing, spiritual, metaphysical clothing, before this time, we can come to the Creator completely cleansed and ready to experience our new vessel and our new level of light. And the Ari is talking about all these levels. How do we do that? By literally cleansing our clothing and allowing our pure soul to come to the surface and embrace its new vessel and level for the coming year. That's why every Rosh Hashanah is almost like a death process, if you will, where the Ari is talking about the idea of death. What's the idea of death? Even for those of us who understand the energy of Rosh Hashanah, that's really what's taking place. When it says that the Zeranpin goes to sleep, Zeranpin represents the soul. And I strongly recommend viewing classes on Kabbalah.com that explain the spiritual, energetic, cosmic energy and light that's really available. Because the Zeranpin, as we said, goes to sleep. And the soul is really disconnected from the body. That's what that means. Zeranpin and Malchut typically are together, and it goes to sleep, and therefore Malchut represents or gets all of the judgments. The body gets all of the judgments, but the soul remains clean and now can be almost upgraded into a new body, into a new vessel for the coming year that doesn't have the same levushim. It almost experiences a reprieve. The soul experiences a reprieve of all of those levushim all of those clothings that we have blemished, that we have caused negativity towards, that we have, accumulated, whether it's judgments, control, pride, all of the aspects of the ego, whether it's the positive precepts that we haven't done or the negative precepts that we have done, we get a complete reset before we enter into the realm of cleanliness for the coming year through Rosh Hashana and through Yom Kippur. And I strongly recommend coming to all of those connections, whether in person or online, as there's always consciousness and understanding and precision in the process of the holidays that we want to be connected to as much as we can. So hopefully we took today's class, I know it was a little bit longer, and brought the energy of practicality to it, but at the same time, the energy that's really coming off of the letters as we're reading them, we want to envision them coming in, exciting the spark of our soul that we have within, and as well giving us the opportunity to let go of the levushim, to cleanse the levushim, cleanse our clothing that is around our soul, that sometimes doesn't allow us to see the truth of what our mission is, what the positive to-do precepts are, and what the negative not to do or refrainments are in our life. We want to look inside in our life and see, where is it harder for me to do something positive? Where is it easier for me to do something negative and act in line with that level of consciousness? Obviously, the transformation of that levels of consciousness. So to be able to refrain and to double down on that refraining, and to be able to go outside of our nature and to share and to give when it's not so easy for us. So hopefully we can download that consciousness, that light that the Ari is sharing with us and bringing to us for this session. Thank you for joining me.
Yes, thank you, Joseph Gunman, for that wonderful, deep understanding about the time of Tshuva, the time in which we've been given to help to prepare a better vessel so that we can receive the light of Rosh Hashanah, the new vessel that the Creator has prepared for us. And really and truly, the preparation comes from the work that we do. The amount of preparation that we put into this will allow us to create a vessel, a better vessel. Again, friends, Kabbalah is science. And that is what we're giving you here. We're giving you understanding. The scriptures say, knowledge is a principal thing, but in all that get understanding. The action of understanding resides in the level of Binah, on the tree of life. Understanding. So, I want to play, again, this is all about preparation, and the more prepared you are, the better opportunity you have to take advantage. Yes, take advantage of what's happening. So I'm going to play another by a very talented orator, David Guillaume, who many of you might be following his podcast on Spotify. He learned a lot being a student at the Kabbalah Center, and is breaking it down for people. So I'm going to play a lecture from him, and we'll continue this next week. I won't be able to play the whole thing. It's about 53 minutes. And all right, so let's see what David had to say.
Welcome everyone to our 6-part series in shaping our destiny for the coming year. My name is David Guillaume, and I know that we have a lot of people live, which is amazing. Would love to be able to see your faces. I'm continuously scrolling through just to be able to connect with you. And well, part of the connection is also to be able to receive messages for the people who are here and be able to create a more bespoke experience that is for your soul. So that's part of the power of being able to see each other. In this 6 weeks, we have, I think, some of our great teachers, some amazing colleagues I have, and my teachers coming to be with you. Eitan Yardeni, Eliyahu Yardeni, Michael Berg, Monica Berg, all will be part of this series to help prepare all of us to have the highest level of consciousness for what is considered to be the 2 most important spiritual days of the year, which is called Rosh Hashana. So today I'm going to share a little bit of an overview. I plan to actually take a deeper approach, but still make it practical for all of us in how to prepare. And what's also amazing is I think we have translations happening simultaneously in both Spanish and Portuguese. So thank you to our translators, and thank you for coming on from all around the world, because I know that usually in these events for Rosh Hashanah we have over 70 countries represented, and this year it will be live in New York City, which I highly recommend. If you've never experienced a live in-person Rosh Hashanah, it's one of the most powerful things that you can do in terms of transformation and creating a new destiny for your whole year. So wherever you are in the world, try to make it in New York. If not, try to go to a local center, and if not, try to join us on streaming to be able to make the connection from your house. All right, so what is this all about? First off, let's establish the fact that Rosh Hashanah is a cosmic opening, a window in time that benefits all the souls of humanity. And if you remember the class that we had in Kabbalah 1, I think class 6 or 7, depending on who you took it with, we learned about the concept of the light and the vessel going through a process of what's called bread of shame, where the vessel received light that it did not earn, and it rejected that light. And that gave birth to our physical world. And we said, as the vessel shattered, so did all the souls of humanity. And that was a very general understanding and overview of how our creation came about. But there are many, many more details, as illuminated from the 10 luminous emanations that were given to us by Rav Isaac Luria, who lived about 500 years ago, and then further translated and made more practical by Rav Ashlag, founder of the Kabbalah Center, and then further made more practical by my teacher, Rav Berg. And so what he explains here is that when the vessel shattered, there were many other spiritual formations that occurred afterwards, all the way down to what's called Adam and Eve, which are codes. Adam and Eve, which is a famous story everybody knows about, is actually a very spiritual experience that happened in the upper worlds as well as in the lower worlds, where all the male souls and all the female souls of humanity went through a process. It says that on the 6th day of creation, which was a Friday, there is a process that Adam and Eve went through, whereby they were not supposed to engage in a certain type of connection to light for a period of 6 hours. Even the concept of 6 hours is a code, but the idea was there had to be restriction. And in that 6-hour window, in that restriction, their vessels would be able to transform and become a stable vessel by which to hold great light, the greatest light, the light that would remove all pain and suffering. This light was called the light, and it's a code, the light of Shabbat. A lot of people think Shabbat is some kind of religious concept. All Shabbat means is the total revelation of light, which occurs on I would say it occurs every week. We get a taste of this light every Friday night until Saturday night in a potential state. But we don't fully reveal this light because our vessels haven't been built enough to receive it. So the light is there, it is available. The light of Shabbat, which means all our questions get answered, all our pain goes away, person reveals their purpose, their soulmate. Whatever challenge you're going through can be removed if you actually connect to that. But it's the vessel that's not ready. So going back to Adam and Eve, there's something they had to do for 6 hours. They had to wait to connect to that light. But what they ended up doing is they couldn't wait for whatever reason. There's a lot of secrets of why they couldn't. And they grabbed the energy before it's time. They grabbed the energy before it's time. And a lot of us can practically understand for our own lives, how many times do we feel upset, empty, needy, afraid, anxious? And instead of pausing, which is what we learned in the first class of Kabbalah 1, we can't help ourselves, and we take the energy. We take the energy sooner than we are meant to. And part of what's hard is we feel that this energy is meant for us. We feel that we are supposed to have it. And that's what's so confusing about reactive behavior. It feels right. It feels right in the moment for me to say this, to do this, to take this. It feels right. And the reason why it feels right is because we know we are meant to have it. Adam and Eve knew they were meant to have it. But they did not do enough letting go. And what happened is when they brought that light into their vessel, before their vessel was ready for it, their vessel shattered as well. And it created another phase called the tikkun process, where all the souls of humanity came into this world, and it says that all the new souls have already come. So every soul that will ever exist has already come to this world. And we are all going through a tikkun process. We all came from this original Adam and Eve, male and female energies, and it's now imbued in the 7 billion plus people in this world. And what's interesting is, just a little bit of reincarnation, every time a soul comes to this world and does not fulfill its tikkun, what a lot of people don't know is that it breaks up into more souls afterwards. So for example, let's say I'm looking at Sherry here. Sherry, hello Sherry, you wave your head. Let's say Sherry has certain tikkun that she needs to transform, okay? I'm totally making it up, so don't be upset with me, Sherry. Let's say Sherry has control issues or some kind of fear of abandonment or trust issues, and she's given certain relationships in this life. She might have certain children that help awaken all these control issues, but maybe she didn't learn Kabbalah in time, and she, instead of letting go of her control, trusting the light, allowing the light to come in, she said, the best thing for me to do is to control everyone, because that's how I'm going to help everyone. That's how I'm going to move things forward. And look at all the other people who are controlling other people, and it works, so I'm going to do it. And really, what ends up happening is then Sherry has to come back in the next lifetime, and her soul breaks up into many more souls. So there's like 5 Sherrys now, spread all around the world, each of them taking a piece of the tikkun process. And the reason why this happens is because if the original Sherry couldn't finish the tikkun, well, why should another Sherry come back? We need to divide it up in order that it becomes a little bit more diffused and easier to handle, is kind of the logic behind the souls that keep coming into this world. And it's the original souls are just breaking up, which is another whole interesting topic of soulmates and soulmate relationships, because who is a soulmate? We have so many relationships that we are meant to be engaged in that feel powerful. There's deja vu involved. There is, you feel like you need to maybe know someone, to do business with someone. Maybe some relationships only last 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. Because these are all parts of our soul that existed for generations and lifetimes and lifetimes. So we have to not get so crazy about all the little things that are happening. We all get so like frantic and crazy about, oh, what does this mean? And who's my soulmate? Just, we all got to relax a little bit and realize every soul that is sent to us, the Creator has a plan, and our job is not to take it so seriously and overreact to it, but actually treat it with the respect it deserves and be okay with some of these relationships not even lasting, right? I know some people hold on to like childhood relationships that even if they're toxic, you still hold on to them for whatever nostalgic reason. Part of what I'm sharing all this is, hey, there's a bigger picture of souls and the transmigration of souls. And it's all good. It's all about how do I just reveal the light in that moment? How do I just do my tikkun in that moment? So going back to the story of Adam and Eve, this whole process of grabbing the energy before it's time happened on the first and second day of Libra. Really the first day of Libra, which kind of diffuses into the second day. The first and second day of Libra were when Adam and Eve were created, and the sin, which now we know what the code name sin means. Sin just means I took energy before my vessel was ready. So it's not I did something bad. I did something good, just the timing was off. It's like buying a fast, expensive supercar for your 16-year-old son. You know, the timing might be a little off to buy your son a $450,000 12-cylinder vehicle because it's too much energy. He's not going to be able to handle it. He's going to drive it fast. He's going to crash it into a wall, and he's going to think it's no big deal because daddy's going to bail him out. His vessel wasn't ready to handle that. Okay? So, and you've all learned how valuable it is, the concept of bread of shame. We're starting to realize I don't even want to receive something I haven't earned because a lot of chaos comes from that. A lot of chaos. So Adam and Eve's sin, the short circuit, happened on these days. And whenever a short circuit occurs in a period of time, it creates what's called judgment. Judgment. What is judgment? We usually think the word judgment is a bad thing. But what judgment does is it clarifies. What judgment does is it's an audit on what's going on. What's going on? So for example, a lot of people are not that aware of what's going on with their finances. Are you someone who, if I asked you, how much money do you spend? How much money do you make? What are your credit card bills? Do you know your average interest rate on your debt? Do you know how much savings you have? Do you know how much you will need in 3 years? Do you have a budget for the next 3 years of your life? You would be able to say, yes, it's all right here, written down. I follow it. I have tracked it. I know exactly how much I owe. I know exactly what I'm going to spend, what I'm making, and I have a whole plan. How many of us here would say we are not that close to what I just said? Raise your hand. All right. If we're honest, I think it's most of us. Some of us have learned through experience to be that way, but the point is we don't really know what's going on. However, if the IRS knocked on your door and said, hey, look, we're seeing some stuff here that doesn't make much sense. We need you to go through all your expenses, all your income, and show us all your receipts. Why are we all so scared of the IRS? Because what the IRS is doing is bringing judgment, forcing us to look at the details and separate the good from the bad. This is a good thing because it creates accountability. It creates accountability. It's like when you see a police officer driving up behind you. What always happens? What do we all feel when there's a police officer behind us? Do we feel, oh, I feel so safe now. Officers behind me, I feel so protected. No, we feel like we're being judged. Immediately, you're not rolling stop signs anymore. Immediately, you're not running through yellow lights. Immediately, you're going to get off your phone because it's illegal to be on it in certain states. You're all of a sudden, you're like, all right, what's good, what's bad, separate the two, and let's get clean. So what judgment does is very powerful. It actually helps us look inside and examine and bring everything to where it needs to be. You put your phone down, you put two hands on the wheel, you drive at the speed limit. I mean, if I said, would you want every driver out there who's driving on the same road as your daughter and son, would you want them to have two hands on the wheel, driving at the speed limit, not running red lights? Would you say yes? You say, oh yes, I would love every driver out there to be that way. But if I peeked into your car or my car, you have a quesadilla in one hand, a phone in another hand, you're driving with your elbow or your knee, and you're playing like with the radio, right? We're going over this. I mean, we're not doing it, and that's okay because that's just who we are. But we need a little judgment. We need cops on the road. We need the IRS, whether we like it or not, because it keeps order. So every year, this judgment returns to all the souls of humanity. And what happens is actually it's a 10-day process. From Rosh Hashana to what's called Yom Kippur. It's actually 10 dimensions of light, 10 days where the soul is being quote unquote judged. But what does that mean? It means all the good, all the bad, all the tikkun, it's all being sorted in those 10 days. Why? To give you a new soul at the end of those 10 days. What is this new soul that I get? It is the perfect soul that I need. It's the new destiny that I need that is perfect for me with all the future challenges, with all the future successes already determined, that is best for my tikkun process. Adam and Eve's short circuit was also the day of their birthday. So technically, all of us are Libra. What is the sign of Libra? It's the scales. It's the same scales of in the judicial system. It's judgment. And this is also the Libra. What are Libras known for? The inability to see clearly the good and the bad. Right? We say that Libra's main tikkun is being indecisive. Because why indecisive? Because it's hard to see what's good, what's bad. Because sometimes we see something that's good, but the timing is off, which makes it bad. It's very hard, it's very confusing. So all of us are actually Libra in some way. And Rosh Hashanah is our birthday and also a day of judgment where everything starts to become separated and analyzed. I told you it's a 10-day process, but Rosh Hashanah is only 2 days. And that is because of the 10 days, the first 2 days represents the head, and the next 8 days kind of represents the body. The head always controls the body. And this is why the first 2 days are the most important. Because it represents consciousness. And we know in our own lives, as long as your consciousness is good, everything else is good. As long as your consciousness is good, the body can heal. As long as your consciousness is good, the sustenance can flow in. As long as your consciousness is good, people want to be around you. What's bad consciousness? Worry, anxiety, evil speech, low energy, staying in a constant state of a depressed state and not choosing to do anything about it. All of this is a very low vibration, and we know when we are around people like that, how do we feel? We feel drained, we feel sapped, we feel like we've entered a black hole. We try to avoid those people. We try to avoid those people. If you're looking to hire somebody for your company, and they come on a call and they say, I don't even know why I'm here. I don't really like my life. I just really trying to make some money. I hope you give me the job. You're like, okay, next. You're not going to hire this person. You're going to hire the person that has good consciousness. Who do you want marrying your daughter? You have a daughter? Who do you want to marry her? Is it going to be someone that comes in with certainty, humility, strength, sustenance? That's the person you want. Not someone who has bad consciousness. So consciousness controls everything. People say, how do you become successful? It's really only one thing. It's not 1,000 things. It doesn't even matter how much money you have, where you come from, what your family is. None of it really matters. All that matters is your consciousness. Right? You heard the famous quote, I believe, from Warren Buffett. He said, if you took all the money of the world, you put it all together, and you equally distributed it to everyone in this world, right? So no one had more or less money. In 10 years, everyone it would go back to the original distribution of wealth. What does that mean? How is that possible? It's because it doesn't matter what a person receives. If their vessel can't hold it, they will lose it. And it doesn't matter what a person doesn't have. If their vessel is meant to receive it, they will get it. What is the vessel? Consciousness. What determines the consciousness of the whole year? Rosh Hashanah. What happens on the day of Rosh Hashanah? The good and bad parts of your consciousness become audited, looked at, examined, and you are handed a new soul. You are handed a new soul. So let's stop right there, and let's see if there are questions about what we have learned so far. Is this interesting to you all? Is this new content? Are you bored? You're not bored. Okay, good. I want to make sure you guys feel like you are being entertained. It's the middle of the day for a lot of you, or nighttime. All right. Let me know if you have questions. I'm looking at the chat. All right. Let's see here. What kind of a soul does a person get if they were reactive all year long? Well, let's first understand that all of us are reactive all year long. So I don't want you to think you're doing something wrong. I guarantee you I was more reactive than all of you, maybe even combined. I wear that proudly as a badge. I am an incredibly reactive person, but it's not about being reactive. Satan is going to win. He works harder than us. It's not about being reactive. What it really is what you do after being reactive.
And I'm going to pause it right there because I think that's a lot to chew on so far. Again, this is David Guillaume, and I highly recommend. We're going to play this next week. Okay. Very good, very good, very good breakdown of what's happening. Again, this is science. So, friends, thanks for listening. Again, to reach us, our WhatsApp is +1 516 965 5700. This is Joshua. We're here every Tuesday and Wednesday.